Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Fluent Mindcast. I'm Jake.
And I'm Emma. It's so good to be with you all again.
We are diving deep today into a topic that I think if you're learning English, you have definitely felt before. It's probably one of the most common frustrations we hear about.
That's absolutely right. We're going to be focusing on that universal experience for learners.
Right.
It's that moment when you realize you can understand almost everything. You're watching a movie, reading an article, and it all makes sense.
Yeah, you're totally comfortable.
But then the moment comes for you to speak, and something it freezes. It feels like you've hit a wall.
It is the strangest feeling. I mean, you could be following some complex debate on TV, you're nodding along, you get all the jokes, all the nuance, and then someone turns to you and asks a really simple question about it, and your brain just panics. All you can manage to get out is, like, yeah, it was?
Exactly. That classic, frustrating, I understand, but I can't speak dilemma.
Yeah.
That's what we're here to unpack today. And we want to say right from the start, you are not alone in this.
Not at all.
It feels like a glitch, but it's actually a completely normal part of how our brains learn a language.
Right. And our mission for this deep dive is to go way beyond just saying, yeah, that's a normal feeling. We want to give you real, achievable strategies to start closing that gap, like today. We're talking about clear human solutions. No move to London tomorrow advice here.
No, nothing extreme. We're going to break down the psychological and even the mechanical reasons for this blockage. We want you to understand what's happening in your brain so you can stop blaming yourself.
And crucially, we have to have a little fun with this. You have to be able to laugh at the mistakes. I mean, if you can't accept being a little messy while you're learning, the pressure just becomes way too much.
That acceptance is key. So before we really dive in, I want you to take just a moment and think. When do you feel the most stuck? Is it when you're talking to a native speaker, maybe someone who speaks really fast?
Or maybe trying to express a big idea.
Yes, exactly. Or is it just when you're tired or stressed? Just hold that situation in your mind.
And while you're thinking about that, if this topic is already hitting home for you, please take a quick second to like the episode, subscribe to Fluent Mindcast, and maybe share it with another learner who you know feels the exact same way.
Your support really does help us create more of these deep dives.
It really does. Okay, so where do we start with this? The brain science.
Let's start with a really comforting thought. You're doing great.
I love that.
Seriously. If you feel this gap, you are not failing. You're just experiencing a very normal difference between your receptive skills and your productive skills.
Listening and reading versus speaking and writing.
Exactly. And the key thing to understand is that they use different mental processes. They're like two different gears in your brain.
So, okay, unpack that for us. What's actually happening when we recognize a word versus when we try to, say it?
Well, when you're listening or reading, your brain is mostly doing pattern recognition. It's accessing your semantic memory, which is like a huge library of facts and words you know.
Okay, so it's passive.
It's passive identification. The brain sees or hears a word, matches it to the meaning in your library, and boom, you understand. It's super fast, very efficient.
This is where the song analogy comes in for me. It makes it so clear.
Oh, I love this one.
Listening is just like hearing a song on the radio. You know it instantly. You can hum along. You're like, oh yeah, I know this one.
Right.
That recognition is easy. It takes almost no mental energy.
Exactly. But speaking relies on what's called procedural memory. This is your memory for how to do things. A sequence.
Like riding a bike.
Precisely. Your brain isn't just matching a pattern. It's retrieving the word, putting it in the right grammatical order, finding the right pronunciation, and then telling your mouth how to physically make the sounds.
Wow, when you list it all out like that.
It's a lot of steps. So in the song analogy, speaking is like being asked to sing that entire song from memory, a cappella, right now.
Oh, no, thank you.
Suddenly your brain is like, wait, how does the second verse start again? What was that high note? And you get that floating feeling.
That is the perfect description. The loading screen.
Input is fast and passive. Output is slow and active. It's heavy lifting for the brain.
And I think that's where the real frustration comes from for, B2 or C1 learners. Your understanding is so good, your library is huge.
Yeah.
You think, I know all these words. Why can't I just use them?
And that's the gap. Your brain is just so much faster at recognizing than it is at retrieving and assembling. So the better you get at understanding, the bigger and more frustrating that gap can feel.
Which leads to that crazy disconnect, right?
Yeah.
How can I understand this whole deep dive with all its complex language, but then I struggle to say a simple sentence like, I'm going to the store? Have you ever felt that? That extreme disconnect,
Right.
where the voice in your head is fluent, but the words just won't come out.
It's a mechanics problem. It's not a you problem. And the good news is procedural memory is totally trainable.
Okay, that's the hope we need. So let's talk about what's blocking those mechanics. Now, here's one thing almost nobody notices.
The translation trap.
Exactly, the hidden translation roadblock. You might think you're thinking in English, but your brain is secretly translating in the background.
It is, because your native language is your brain's most trusted tool. It's efficient, it's safe. So when you're under pressure, your brain just defaults to what it knows best.
It goes back home.
It does. It formulates the thought in your native language first, and then tries to translate it word for word into English. And that extra step, that's what causes the freeze.
I have a perfect example of this. I was trying to speak Spanish once, and I wanted to say, I missed the bus. Simple, right?
It seems simple.
But in my head, I was translating the English concept of missing something, like a feeling of loss, instead of just the functional act of not catching the bus. So I was searching for this really complicated verb.
Oh, the search freeze?
Total search freeze. And by the time I figured it out, the conversation had completely moved on. I was left in the dust.
That is the perfect illustration. It gets so much worse when words don't have a perfect one-to-one translation between languages.
Right.
Your brain gets stuck looking for the best word, the perfect word, and it just freezes the whole system while it searches.
So how do we fix that? How do we stop the search?
We have to change the unit of language we're thinking in. The fix is to stop focusing on individual words
Okay.
and start focusing on structures and chunks. Full expressions. You treat make a decision as one single block of sound, not 3 separate words. It's a cognitive shortcut. It bypasses the translation step completely.
I love that. Focus on the flow, not the individual brick.
Yeah.
Which actually leads us right into the next big problem, especially for advanced learners.
The perfection trap.
The dreaded perfection trap. This one hits B2 and C1 learners the hardest, I think.
It absolutely does. Because your understanding is so high level, you can hear and appreciate really sophisticated, polished English.
And then you judge yourself against that standard.
You hold yourself to that impossible native-like standard. You want to sound just as eloquent, and that pressure, that need to be perfect, just creates so much anxiety.
And anxiety leads to silence.
It's that gap again. The quality of what you understand versus the quality of what you can say, it can feel, well, embarrassing. It was like wanting to play basketball like an NBA pro when you've barely practiced dribbling.
You're not giving yourself room to just be a learner. And here's the messy truth we all need to accept.
Okay.
Native speakers are messy. We are constantly messy. If you really listen to a normal conversation, you'll hear us repeat words, use filler sounds like, and we correct ourselves mid-sentence.
All the time.
We change direction in the middle of a thought. Do you notice this happening when you speak your native language?
Yeah.
Because it definitely happens.
Oh, for sure. Let me think for a second. Yeah, if you talk to me long enough, you'll hear a sentence to start one way and end up as something totally different.
Exactly. We sound fluent, not because every sentence is grammatically perfect, but because we keep going. We prioritize momentum.
That's the key. Fluency is not perfection. Fluency is flow. It is about maintaining that forward momentum in the conversation.
So the goal is to just be messy. But how do you do that without just learning bad habits?
That's a great question. The practical step isn't to stop caring about accuracy. It's to stop letting the fear of inaccuracy stop you.
Okay.
Try this. Set a mistake quota for yourself. Say, in this next conversation, I'm going to allow myself to make 5 mistakes. By giving yourself permission, you lower the pressure.
And that frees you up to actually speak.
It frees up the procedural memory to just work without your internal critic shutting it down.
We're here to help you improve step by step. But that first step is just accepting the mess.
It truly is.
Here's where things get fun. Because now we get to the good news. If you are at a B2 level or higher, you already have a huge vocabulary. The knowledge is in there. The library is full.
It's so true. The issue isn't what you know, it's how quickly you can access it. Most of that knowledge is passive. To make it active, you need practice. Production practice.
Not just exposure.
Not just exposure. This is where the cooking analogy comes in handy.
Yes.
Imagine someone who watches cooking shows all weekend. They know what saute and broil and marinate mean. That's their passive knowledge.
They can recognize the words instantly.
But if they've never actually gone into the kitchen and chopped an onion or turned on the stove, they still can't make dinner.
Right. They know the theory, but they have no practical skill. The muscle memory isn't there.
Exactly. The operational skill is undeveloped. You know what the words are, but you don't know how to use them automatically.
So the goal isn't to learn 1,000 new words. It's to start using the thousands you already know. So how do we do that? How do we activate them?
Through repetition, real intentional repetition. So strategy 1 is what we call deep shadowing and reading aloud.
Shadowing is huge. A lot of people have heard of it.
They have, but it's often not done effectively. True shadowing isn't just listening and repeating once.
Right.
It's about really mimicking the speaker's pace, their intonation, their rhythm. You can echo them, repeating right after, or for a real challenge, try speaking at the exact same time.
That's so hard.
It's very hard, but it forces your brain to stop thinking and just produce the sounds. And you have to do it over and over, 10, 20 times with the same short clip.
And you have to do it out loud. That's the key.
Out loud is crucial. Speaking is a physical skill. Your mouth needs the muscle memory just as much as your brain does.
So that's for phrases. What about for individual words that are stuck in that passive library?
That brings us to strategy 2, intentional word activation. This is a self-challenge.
Okay.
You read a cool word in an article, like meticulous. You then set a goal. Today, I will use the word meticulous in 3 different sentences that I say out loud.
You're forcing the retrieval, but in a low-pressure way.
Exactly. You're telling your brain, hey, I need you to be able to find this word quickly.
And for a daily warm-up, there's strategy 3, which is my favorite. Narrating your day.
It's so simple and so effective.
You're just alone, washing the dishes, and you just say what you're doing. I am washing the plate, now I am rinsing the plate. Simple stuff.
It forces that immediate production.
And here's the fun trick. If you feel awkward talking to yourself, just pretend you're an actor practicing your lines for a movie.
That's brilliant.
It takes all the self-consciousness away. So what about you? What little tricks do you use to practice alone?
Consistency is so much more important than complexity here. Just a few minutes every day makes a huge difference.
Okay, so we've got the psychology, we've got the activation strategies. Let's give them some real chunks they can steal today.
Yes. Let's talk about the tools that create flow and, importantly, buy your brain some thinking time.
Language chunks. These are the prepackaged phrases that just work.
They're the glue of natural native speech. They let you organize your next thought without that awkward dead silence.
But, hold on, I have to ask. Isn't using fillers like, let me think for a second, just a crutch? Doesn't it make you sound uncertain?
That's a fantastic question, and here's the difference. A halting speaker is silent while they search.
Okay.
A fluent speaker uses a phrase to signal that they're searching, all while keeping the rhythm of the conversation going. These chunks are conversational currency. They maintain the connection.
So it's about filling the space productively.
Exactly. And the rule is they have to just flow out as one unit, no translating. So let's list a few.
That's it.
Number 1, you use it to clarify or correct yourself. The text was hard. It was almost impossible.
Love that one. Number 2, so basically great for summarizing. So basically we just need more time.
Number 3, this one is a lifesaver. What I'm trying to say is it lets you restart a complicated sentence you've messed up.
Yes, so good. Okay, number 4, the thing is, perfect for introducing a problem. The thing is, the budget is too small.
Number 5 is great for connecting ideas. That reminds me of.
Very nice.
6, for an opinion, if you ask me.
And my personal favorite, number 7. Let me think for a second.
It's honest, it's natural, and it genuinely buys you time to think. Much better than a long, drawn-out,
So beyond those phrases, we need to talk about collocations.
Yes. Words that just naturally go together. Learning them as pairs or units is another huge shortcut for your brain.
It reduces the number of choices your brain has to make. Instead of picking a verb, then picking a noun, you just grab the whole chunk.
Precisely. You don't do a decision, you make a decision.
Right. You don't have responsibility, you take responsibility.
You don't put a question, you raise a question.
You don't take someone's attention, you catch someone's attention.
And it's not just verbs and nouns. Think about adjectives. It's heavy traffic, not big traffic.
It's strong wind, not powerful wind.
Or adverbs. Highly successful, fully aware.
These pairs are what make you sound natural, not like you're translating in your head.
It's all about bypassing that slow, word-by-word assembly line.
And I'll throw in my favorite friendly collocation. Make yourself at home.
A perfect one.
That's what we want for you, for these chunks to feel so natural that you feel at home using them.
Okay, let's talk about your daily routine. This is where we get really strategic.
I'm ready.
If you look at how you study English, and 90% of it is listening and reading, well, your speaking skill is not going to grow.
It's just input, input, input.
All input. You need to build activation habits. You have to carve out time, even just a little, for active, out loud production.
So this is about changing what studying even means. It needs a physical part.
Yes. And a super effective one is the internal monologue habit.
Ah, switching the voice in your head to English.
Exactly. And here's the key. Don't try to do it all day. That's exhausting.
You'll burn out so fast.
The goal is just 5 minutes. Set a timer. Treat it like a focused warm-up for your English brain.
And the first couple of minutes will feel clunky.
They will. Your brain will resist, but then it will start to flow because you force those pathways to open.
And you have to do it out loud.
We keep coming back to this because it's so important. The muscle memory. Your mouth, your tongue, your jaw, they are learning a new physical skill.
Right. The sounds are physically different.
And the easier it is for your mouth to make the sounds, the more brain power you have left for the actual message. The grammar, the vocabulary, the flow.
It's like you have to automate the physical part so you can focus on the intellectual part.
Yeah.
So what can people read aloud if they don't have a practice partner?
Anything.
Literally anything. Read movie reviews. Read a recipe for a cake. I seriously sometimes just read YouTube comments out loud.
That's a great one. The content doesn't matter as much as the act of doing it. Find a short passage and just read it out loud a few times.
So what book or website could you read out loud for just 5 minutes today? Just find something.
A short, consistent burst of practice every single day is so much more effective than one long, intense session once a week.
Frequency builds the memory. Got it. Okay, so we've covered the mechanics, the vocabulary, the habits.
Yeah.
But we have to talk about the biggest thing holding people back.
The emotional barrier.
Fear. Plain and simple. It's the fear of being judged, the fear of making a mistake, the fear of sounding, not good enough. And that fear is what triggers the freeze response. It just overrides everything else.
It does. So we need a really definitive mindset shift here. This is so crucial.
Okay.
You have to stop trying to avoid mistakes. You have to start using them as clues.
Ooh, I like that. Mistakes as clues.
Think about it. When you make a mistake, say you use the wrong preposition, your brain is getting valuable data. It's pinpointing the exact weak spot in your production line.
So the mistake isn't a failure. It's just a signpost for what to practice next. Like, hey, we need more drills on prepositions.
Exactly. You learn so much faster when you see them as data points, not as evidence that you're bad at English. They are signs of progress.
Because it means you're trying something new.
Yeah.
You're pushing your boundaries.
You are. You can't improve what you're too afraid to even use.
So for someone listening right now who feels that fear, what's the final psychological push they need?
It comes down to acceptance. You have to accept that speaking will always feel a little harder than understanding.
It will never be as easy as listening.
Never. It's just a more demanding cognitive task. And once you accept that, you stop fighting the process. You stop expecting it to be easy, and you can just focus on the flow.
That reframes it from, why am I failing? To, this is hard and I'm doing it anyway.
And here's a final thought on that, something to really think about. Consider how hard it is for a native speaker to speak fluently when they're really tired.
Oh, yeah. Or distracted. Or stressed out.
Exactly. Even we struggle with flow when our brains are taxed. We stutter, we use more fillers, we forget simple words.
It's true. Flow is fragile, even in your first language.
It is. So this difficulty, this gap between knowing and saying, it's not just a learner problem, it's a human brain problem. And knowing that can really help take the pressure off.
That is a really powerful way to end it. It's not you, it's just brains.
So today we really went deep on that understand but can't speak dilemma. We talked about the why, that difference between recognition and recall, and the traps of perfectionism and translation.
And we gave you the tools. You've got mindset shifts, like using mistakes as clues. You've got chunks and collocations to steal. And you have those daily warm-ups, like the 5-minute internal monologue.
You don't have to be perfect. You just have to practice production out loud consistently. Small bursts of practice are what close that gap.
And if this deep dive helped you out, please remember to follow us and share Fluent Mindcast with another learner. We're here to help you improve step by step.
Thank you so much for your time today. Keep practicing, keep challenging yourself, and remember, you're doing great. We will see you in the next deep dive.
Take care, everyone. Talk to you soon right here in Fluent Mindcast.